Good afternoon. I'm really delighted to be here after a 2-year hiatus for live conferences. And so we are introducing today, along with Jess and Richard, our project overview for TeachOSM. TeachOSM is a project to put, well, we'll talk about it. It's a project to put OpenStreetMap in schools. But let's go to the next slide here. Talk about what we're going to talk about. First of all, we want to introduce ourselves. Talk a little bit about the activities underway, our future activities, and more importantly, where you can contribute, and our conference workshops in the next 3 days. And we don't want to talk at you, but we want to talk with you. So think of this as kind of an extended birds of a feather session for the next couple minutes. So let's go with introductions.
Hi everyone, I'm Jess Buetler. I'm the program director at OpenStreetMap US, and TeachOSM is one of our programs.
Hi everybody, thanks for coming. My name is Richard Hinton. I work at the George Washington University, the Department of Geography. I sit on the board with Stephen and Jess on the steering committee for TeachOSM. I also sit on the steering committee for Youth Mappers as well. I run the Youth Mappers Validation Hub. And plug our session tomorrow. Myself and Maxwell, grad student back there, will be doing a validation using TeachOSM for OSM tomorrow. Please come.
All right, let's move to the...
Steve, there's a question for Brian.
Oh.
Is the mic on?
Your button at the bottom and the blue light showing if it's on.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, I was wondering about that too. It's not. So where's the... Sorry.
It's more difficult.
Yeah. So yeah.
So there's
some
3
three buttons. But
there's 3 buttons here, but we don't know which.
Oh, go back to plan A.
Yeah.
Just project.
Yeah.
Yell. Just project. Okay. I hear some amplification. That's okay. Okay. So who are we? What is TeachOSM? Why do we exist? I guess it's been about 8 years ago, a number of us, Richard and I, and a couple of other of our colleagues, kicked around this idea, why aren't we using this fabulous tool in schools? And why aren't we, doing more with this and doing this? And that was kind of the genesis of TeachOSM. Started in 2014, something like that. We had a few meetings, got organized. And now we are a project of OpenStreetMap US, and we like to consider ourselves the educational arm, an educational working group for OpenStreetMap US. We have a lot of mappers that come from all around the community, as well as teachers that are getting in, trying to incorporate this and seeing the value of this. Recently, this is the first year we've had dedicated interns to the process. It's been a huge help. Hayden McLaughlin will be joining us later on today. If you see her around, please introduce yourself to her. We have wonderful partners who also see the value of this to augment and to extend their programming. American Geographical Society and the Geotech Center, which serves the community college community, are also our strong partners and have contributed, and we share resources with them and share programming with them. What are we doing? We have a number of activities that are underway. Oops. Go back. Yeah. So with the pandemic, we've been mostly online. We've been exclusively online for the past couple of years. We have instituted a program. There's a lot of opportunities to obtain basic mapping, introductory mapping skills, and but there's not that second step, and so we're trying to fill the gap with that. How do you get new mappers to keep mapping? And the solution that we've come up with is these map-alongs. So on the first and third Tuesday nights of every month, I host just a 1-hour session where we pick a theme, we pick a geography, we pick a feature, and we spend an hour just mapping. And it's just a place to build confidence for people like high school teachers, community college people who aren't deep into the OpenStreetMap world. They need a place where they can map and build confidence with the platform. So the map-alongs is our way to do that. Workshops and trainings are bread and butter. We're having 3. We'll talk about that in a minute. We have a lot of content. We have posted a lot of stuff since 2019, a lot of content on our teachosm.org website that continually needs to be refreshed. We get a new version of the tasking manager. We have to update all our screenshots and things like that with that. So that's a constant refresh of our content up there. And this year we started offering service learning credits for students and professional development for teachers. So we have something, we're giving them something that they can show that they're, increasing their skills with that. What's been the impact of this? We have reached about 550 teachers so far to date. And I'm thinking about 1,100. These are guesstimates, of course, but there are reasonably good guesstimates of how many students that we've trained, projects that we've launched. We are up to 1,300, almost 1,400 projects on the TeachOSM tasking manager, and we have recurring professional events. Richard and I have incorporated an OpenStreetMap module in our courses at George Washington University, so we spend a week. We train our students to map on OpenStreetMap. Those students typically contribute to projects for USAID, for World Bank, for HOT, for whatever. And we're doing more and more of that. Talked about published projects. And here's a little bit just about where we're going, what we've done, where we're going. Three big categories here: application development, teacher and instructor programming, and then those partnerships and community. The biggest one, I think, is, well, not the biggest one, but one that we're really keen to talk about, and I'll let Jess talk about this in a little while, is our Community Ambassador Program. If you're an experienced mapper, there is a need for you, there is a need for high school teachers and college teachers for you to pair up and mentor these teachers. Oftentimes the teachers are overworked. They are the first technical backstop for their students. So if the teacher doesn't get it, they need somebody to kind of help them, hold their hand, and remove the intimidation factor and help them, help their students with getting the hang of OpenStreet mapping and correct cartographic representation. We are trying to drive a lot more standards of learning into our content so that teachers can say, oh, this meets the, I need to teach this, I need to cover these projects. I have advanced placement, human geography has technical standards that they, what does it apply to? What does this, how do these lessons fit in with whatever they're teaching? Industrialization, urban development, agriculture, demography, population, so forth and so on. They all have to kind of connect these lessons with that material. A couple of our teachers that are involved with our organization have started OSM Team Maptivists. It's essentially youth mappers for high schoolers, and we're really keen to kind of replicate this model. It's been a pilot for the past year. If you are a developer or if you have technical skills, we are in desperate need of making an OSM CHA and an overpass turbo or something like this that we can use in an educational environment. OSM CHA is a wonderful tool, but if you have 3 classes of 30 students all mapping, it's hard to use OSM CHA to directly provide feedback to the teacher so that the teacher can enforce a learning rubric with this. So that's one key thing that we need. Next slide, and I think, Jess, you want to talk about how?
Yeah, I'll talk about how to get involved. So the TeachOSM program has been really strong over the past few years, but it's a really small group of volunteers who have been working on this, and especially focus on teachers and students who are really interested in being involved, bringing OSM to the classroom. And in 2022, we want to kick those doors wide open. So we want to be pulling in members of the OSM community who are, we want more teachers and students, obviously, but we want everyone here. So we want community members, we want hobbyists, we want people who want to do some technical development in the background. We need map roulette, we need a lesson plan for map roulette. So we are kicking those doors wide open, and so we are launching an educational working group, and that's gonna meet once a month. And right now it's only US friendly times. We want to kind of expand that, but for now, we're going to open that door. So that's going to be the first step. So if you're interested in what we're doing, interested in learning more how you can be involved, you might not even know what that looks like right now, but just show up. We'll help figure out what your skill sets are, what you're interested in, and we'll connect the dots for you. So next slide. So Stephen touched on a few of the different items or a few different ways that we're hoping to pull in community members. So one thing is building this ambassador program. So we don't have the infrastructure set up quite yet. What we actually want to do is get a handful of community members who might be interested in being an ambassador and help us shape what that looks like. So we would love to have people who are experienced using OSM, and either maybe an old high school teacher, an old community college teacher that could benefit from OSM in their courses. And mind you, it's not just geography, it's social studies, it's, I don't know, Stephen, you can probably name a few, but it's all over the place. So don't just think in the box of GIS. Teachers, high school and up can use this across multiple subjects. So you might know someone who's going to be really great at diving into this, but they might need a little bit of help. Awesome. Or you don't know anyone and you're just willing to help. We will be the ones to say, hey, we've got a teacher in Florida who really wants to dive into this, but just needs someone to message when they have a mapathon. So if either of those directions work for you, we want to get that set up. Because as Stephen mentioned, a lot of these teachers, they love the concept of OpenStreetMap. They see exactly what it's going to look like in their classroom. But we all know the lift and burden that educators have day to day. The number of tools and technology that we have in our ecosystem, it's a lot, and it's really overwhelming. And just having someone there who can be that go-to person, that's going to make a huge difference in having a sustainable presence in their classroom. And also technical needs and development. We have a tasking manager, we have a website, we have all this stuff. That's a lot, that's just us tweaking GitHub. So please, we do need some extra support. If that sounds like an area that you could help with, we can always use more technical support. And then finally, content development. A lot of people, so as Stephen mentioned, we have a lot of lesson plans and modules that provide information for teachers on how to integrate this into their classroom. A lot of people think that you have to be an educator to create lesson plans. That's not true at all. In fact, we will help you, get to that final step. I'm just going to keep going to map roulette here, but say we are missing a map roulette lesson on the TeachOSM, but there's been tons of interest from teachers on how to use this in their classroom. If we could get a third of that written on how to use map roulette, our steering committee, our other supporters who are in the educational sector, they're going to be the ones that can then take that and tweak it and make sure that a high school student or a high school teacher can use it in their classroom. So you don't have to be an educator to help get OpenStreetMap into a classroom.
Okay, just want to make a plug here for with the remaining time that we have. We have 3 workshops here. We've got one today, one tomorrow, and one Sunday. Basic editing for OpenStreetMap. The idea here is to provide basic training for teachers that show up here at the conference. Tomorrow we are having a collaborative mapping. It's an interesting project that we're doing in St. Lucia. We're mapping buildings. So presumably if you've taken the basic training on Friday, you'll be well suited to do our training, workshop on Saturday. Sunday, please join us. Wear your walking shoes. We are going to spend 2 hours mapping Tucson. So it's an old-fashioned mapping party like we used to have in the olden days. We got field papers. We're going to just distribute papers, and everybody's going to take a clipboard and a pencil and walk out in Tucson. We'll gather data, and then we'll come back and we'll edit it into OpenStreetMap. So 3 opportunities for that. If you are a teacher or a student, we are offering professional development credit for this, so you will get credit if you attend all of the workshops for that. I think that I think I'm out of things. Anything else?
I would just say you don't have to be a teacher or student to come to the map-alongs. If you just want a break from hearing talks and just want to do some mapping, show up. So anyone is welcome to the map-alongs.
Richard, anything to add?
No, you guys covered it. Yeah, you don't need to be an educator or anything. Just be interested in OSM and have fun with it.
Right.
Thanks.
Yep.
That's it.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.